Hello again, Metal.de Shatsis. They have the honor of being reunited with Sean of Make Them Suffer all the way from Australia, still celebrating the mighty sounds of their self-titled album from 2024. It feels a long time ago. It's been almost 2 years since the last time I've seen you, now supporting Motionless in White around Europe. How are you doing?
I'm fucking awesome. This is the comfiest tour we've ever been on. Full, beautiful. I mean, it's actually not very typical of a headlining band to bring around their own catering package. So they're actually touring the catering package with them, which is super nice of them and allowing us to enjoy the catering as well. Super cool. Usually it's just like some of the venues will provide catering, but in this case it's we're having lunch and dinner every day. We've got a nice comfortable bus. It's the shows are incredible, you know. Could definitely do this for the rest of my life, that's for sure.
Well, it does feel like the last time we've met, I think it was June of 2024, just before the album dropped. You've done your first festival season around Europe. It feels like you haven't been home since, just living out of a suitcase, so many massive tours. So from that time, from the release of the album, from the recording, what's the best memory so far?
Oh, I mean, I think for us, being able to just do a headlining tour in every major market, like headlining Australia, headlining the States, North America, and of course Europe over here. Just the fact that those shows did well, and I remember coming to Europe for the first time and playing as an opening band some of the venues that we're now headlining, and it just kind of like it feels like it legitimizes all the hard work and the for how long we've been going for. You know what I mean? It's been I'm just happy that we've persevered with it and it's sort of worked out. And so I'd say that was just a big tick off the bucket list, honestly, just being able to be a headlining band in every market. And I feel like it's legitimized our hard work in a way.
I love that, and I've been following for years, and I know that Corona time was very difficult for you guys. I even heard Nick saying that you were close to breaking up, and then he went on a walk in an empty street, and then he bumped into Alex, and then the future is all known to everyone. Yeah. So do you think that with everything that happened, do you believe in faith? I know it kind of touches on Doom Switch as well, the feeling unlucky, but then faith controls your life, or do you feel like you're still in control?
I very much like to subscribe to the idea that you are the master of your own destiny. I think that people have bouts of bad luck without question. You know what I mean? And it feels like, there's that old saying, when it rains, it pours. When you're having bad luck, it just seems like it keeps going on. And that's kind of what I felt like for us at the time. But it's important, I think, to keep a positive mental attitude. And, we work, I'd like to think that the reason we're here is because of like how hard we've worked to get here, and, how much we've had to push through all the obstacles that have sort of like come into our path. So I like to think that you're the master of your own destiny. I think it's a healthier outlook to have as well. That I think I like encouraging people to take control of their life when they can.
And what do you think when the band is titled an overnight success? Do you just giggle, or do you get aggressive about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, anyone that would say that obviously doesn't know the history of the band. We've been a band for, 16 years or something. I think our first show was, October of 2008. So it's been a long time. Granted, we were a local band for like 4 years. It took us a while to actually just even tour Australia. And then I think our first international tour wasn't until 2013. So what's that, 5 years after the band's inception. So we were a little slow getting started, and then a couple of speed bumps, of course, with various lineup changes and COVID and everything. But it's certainly, we're not an overnight success, and anyone that has been following Make Them Suffer for a long time knows that. We've had many different eras of our band, many different sounds, everything. So, yeah.
Well, I love how things are going right now, but you've already mentioned some challenges. When you toured in the US recently, were you scared that Alex is going to follow her love of country music and just leave you in Nashville?
Well, believe it or not, we actually share the same love of country music as well.
Both of you might go there.
Yeah, I think my most played playlist last year or the year before was classic country hits or something like that on Spotify. So yeah, I enjoy it. I love the cowboy sort of aesthetic and everything about American country. I think it's great. And I'd say, yeah, I've been working on, actually one of our favorite party nights. So we ever have like a night off, we want to celebrate the tour with the rest of the tour package. We always encourage everyone to go and do some karaoke. So for me, Mamas Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys or whatever it's called. That song is a personal favorite of mine, and it's going to be my probably karaoke number moving forward. So yes, keep your eyes peeled for that.
Okay, now I'm really scared about asking about the future of the band, because we might talk about Make Them Suffer, doing some karaoke and country music. So we'll postpone that and slide into that on a heavier note.
Yeah.
But I was wondering, we're giggling and having fun right now, but a lot of the lyrics touch about abandonment, about loss, about difficulties, mental health. Do you believe that happy people do not make good music? That's something you will subscribe to?
Ooh, it's a very difficult question to answer, because I think a lot of the best, I think you're more in touch with your emotions when you're in a more vulnerable state. I don't promote the idea of like being the tortured artist. It's something that I've been through before in the past, almost like, drinking or something, like putting myself in a vulnerable state on purpose in order to get something out of it. I don't think it's a very healthy idea. And and the more I've learned about songwriting and as I've gotten more experienced, I actually find that I'm able to come up with better stuff in a healthy state of mind. Having said that, I think that, music should, my favorite songs and my favorite lyrics are always about real life experiences, and metal is, a very palpable, aggressive, it's an emotional style of music, right? So I think having those experiences and those emotions to draw from when you're writing songs, that goes a long way. So I'd say, rather than trying to be the tortured artist and sort of force that, everyone undergoes, has pain, has heartache, everyone has these negative experiences, and it's important to not neglect them, feel them, sit with them, let that resonate and learn something from it. And I think it's what you learn from those negative experiences that truly makes a great song, because you're able to wrap it all up and contextualize it and put it in a way of like, yeah, well, this is something bad I went through, but this was what I learned from it. And often that's the most powerful message of a song, I think.
And how do you feel going on stage and playing songs like Ghost of Me that touches on that feeling of betrayal, being alone, and then sharing it with, on one hand, loads of people that sing back to you, but on the other hand, taking you back to the experience? I'll be honest, when I'm on stage performing, I don't think too much about the lyrics. As a matter of fact, it's just like onomatopoeia, it's just like muscle memory.
So I'm not really thinking a lot about it. I think in some parts, when I see the audience singing it back to me, like the ending of Erase Me is one that I think is pretty interesting, when people are singing that back to me, because I'm singing, it's such a personal song to me. So was Ghost of Me, but that song in particular, Erase Me, is quite a personal lyrical moment, I would say, at the end there. And then other people are singing these lyrics that are written from the perspective of I, but they're singing it themselves. And I just think that's just a matter of relatability. I think it's really important in songwriting. The more human that you are and the more of yourself you're able to show through your songwriting and through your lyrics, the more people are going to be able to connect with that and relate to that, because we're all humans. We all experience these emotions and these experiences. And just keep it human, I think.
I think another side of the band I really like is going a bit more global, a bit more social, having some sort of a call for action. I've seen it with Oscillator, that touches on our addiction to media and the screen.
Yeah.
But do you feel like, on one hand, the message is very clear in the lyrics, but sometimes the music is very loud and it's being screamed at? That message sometimes muffles the message. Do you feel like our genre has that ability to convey that message of change?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that, that's, you need to look at the history of like punk rock to know that, metal and punk can be a very outspoken genre when it comes to touching on like political, social issues, that sort of thing. Make Them Suffer, I don't think is necessarily that band. When I'm writing about something like a social issue or a political issue or something like that, I'm writing it as very much so from a perspective of like my own view on that. It's not something that I necessarily want. I'm not trying to tell people how to think or whatever. I mean, the fact of the matter is, when we go on tour, like we all compare our phones, and it says the screen time, daily screen time. Last American tour. So when I'm at home, on average, my daily screen time is roughly 2 to 3 hours a day. On tour, it's like 8 to 9 hours a day of screen time. So when I'm on tour, I'm obviously thinking about the band. I'm a part of the band. That's my day-to-day life. It's like all that my brain is focusing on is band stuff. So then naturally, that's a time when like a lot of lyrics are written and stuff like that. And, a song like Oscillator probably comes from an experience like that, just being on tour and just being like, this is crazy. My brain is turning to mush. We're all scrolling on our phones, and, you buy a new iPhone and it comes up with this big contract and you go, yep, I agree to all the terms and conditions without ever reading them. And it's just, I don't know, that's kind of what that song is about for me. Just the brain deadness of it all, of us just like mindlessly doom scrolling forever, basically.
What do you feel about the fact that bands, especially musicians, artists, anyone that's trying to get some exposure needs to subscribe to that, and labels are pushing us to do that? I'm guessing you got at least one email from your manager or from your label saying, we need more content. So what do you feel about that demand of society? Also that rage bait is being used around us all the time to get people to just feel and subscribe to that content all the time?
I mean, I would love for a world where artists were judged purely on the merit or quality of their music, but unfortunately that's just not the case. You need to have something. These days you need to be pushing in some way on social media. You need to be pushing an agenda or something like that. Make them. Thankfully, we actually have a really good team behind us. None of our labels or management or anything like that ever pushes us too hard to do any sort of social media stuff. But we are aware that like you have to, it's part of the job. It kind of comes with the territory a little bit. So, we try to, promote ourselves a little bit on social media and stuff. But I mean, it doesn't define us. It doesn't define Make Them Suffer, I think. I think there's kind of two types of bands in this world, or artists. I think there's the ones that are defined more by, the way they dress or the way they present on social media. And that's kind of, people are really attracted to that aspect of those artists. And then I think there's the artists where people are really attracted to the way they sound, the lyrical content, things like that. And I'd like to think we're a little bit more in that category. So I try not to let, our identity be consumed by social media, sort of thing.
Well, let's talk about the music then, because as we said, it's been a year and a half since your self-titled album was released, November of 2024.
Yeah.
And as much as I love it, I want a bit more.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, you guys have been so busy the last couple of months. It feels like you haven't done anything except for just touring and meeting us on the road for the last year and a half. So can we talk about new music? Are you planning? Are you thinking about it? Yeah. Or is it just me being an annoying fan?
No, absolutely. We can talk about it. I also felt like it's, I'm ready to give more, because in some ways, although we just put out an album, a year ago, the build up to that album, and, we had basically a year or maybe more, I'm not sure of the exact dates, but of building up to, and the anticipation of the album, teasing single after single. I think we put out 4 or 5 singles before the album actually dropped, which is like quite a lot. And I think, given that it feels like the album actually came out much longer ago than it actually did, for us anyway, I think we've done most of what we want to do in a touring capacity in this album cycle. We've ticked a lot of boxes, a lot of bucket list venues. This tour, we're playing arenas. We got to play Ali Pali in London. That's iconic. It's going to be an amazing show tonight here in Dusseldorf. So I think we've done a lot of what we actually want to achieve in touring, and I think we've got some dates in America that we're doing around June this year, and around those dates we're going to be spending some time in the studio, a good chunk of time as well. Like, it's not going to be rushed or anything like that, and we're going to be hopefully recording all these ideas that we've been working on for the last couple of months while we've been home. Country
music.
That's right. Yeah. Singer-songwriter, country music. Yeah. No, it's just Alex and I's side project. Oh, you wanted to talk about Make Them Suffer? I'm sorry. We'll have new Make Them Suffer stuff being recorded pretty soon. Who knows when it comes out? Sometimes these things take much longer than I think anyone ever expects. Sometimes it can take like a year to put out an album from the time it's recorded. So we don't know. But we've been working on stuff. I think it's awesome. I mean, you always say it's my favorite of our material, but we always say that about our new stuff, don't we, artists? So I'll let people make their mind up about that. I think it'll speak for itself.
And can I ask about collaborations? You guys have been touring with some massive names over the last 2 years. At the moment with Motionless in White, I've seen you with Barry Tomorrow. I think you had a tour with Sleep Token and also Bring Me the Horizon. Were there any discussions about collaborations, either them coming onto your set or into your studio, or the other way around? Any surprises, friendships that we can enjoy on Spotify soon?
Well,
it's just us two here.
Yeah, I don't want to go into too much detail. Put it this way, we've in the past, Make Them Suffer has not done a whole lot of guest spots on our songs. I'm pretty excited about the prospect of getting some guest spots on this album, and certainly with the caliber of artists that we've had the privilege of touring with over the last couple of years, there'd be some of the top contenders in terms of like who we'd love to get. So that's all I'm going to say about that. And you guys can make up the rest.
I love that. That gives me enough hope for now.
Yeah.
I'll definitely follow your pages and see for more hints. I was wondering if I can get your help in making our scene a bit more safe, a bit more welcoming for everyone, different genders, different sexualities, different accents, different stories, everyone to feel welcome in the mosh pit, or to pick up an instrument and be the next generation. From your experience as a musician, as a fan, what do you think we either need to do more or stop doing immediately to make everyone feel welcome and definitely safe to join us?
I think people just need to be more accepting and tolerant of one another. I think for the most part, actually at metal shows, 99% of people do the right thing. I think we have a pretty supportive kind of like mosh culture, for example. It's something that vocalists of bands often will tell the crowd, if someone falls over, you pick them up. And I think that's the sort of culture which we're getting better at and starting to create in the scene. It's just, don't be a dick, is as simple as that. There's no room in the metal and hardcore community for like ego or bullshit, elitism, judgment. Just as soon as you walk in that door, leave all that shit behind you. We're all here to appreciate our love of heavy music, and it attracts some really unique, some of the most unique and interesting and cool people that I've had the pleasure of meeting, our fans. So leave the bullshit at the door and be more accepting of one another.
Sean, I love that. I'll just point out that your self-titled album was released last year, 2024 actually. Mm-hmm. I keep forgetting what day it is. But about a year ago, it's your 5th album. I love the sound. It's actually my favorite album, but there are 4 more, so people can go and enjoy that. You're touring with Motionless in White at the moment. I believe you're going to the US, as we said, in May for a few festivals, and maybe more surprises around that. Going back to Australia in June with Motionless in White for a few more shows.
Again,
Anything else you want to share with us before we say goodbye?
No, not really. I mean, if you've come and seen us at any of these shows, thank you so much. This has been the opportunity of a lifetime for us, and we're so stoked to be touring again with Motionless in White in Australia in June, I think it is, or around then, thereabouts. Anyway, keep your eyes peeled for new material. I think we're actually it's quite likely we're going to be taking some time off touring, just with how crazy our schedule has been. And I think we all just want a bit of time to do some life admin at home. For the last, I don't know, for 3 or 4 years, we've kind of been, away from home roughly 6 months of the year for the 4 years consecutively. So it's nice that we're going to take probably the back half of the year off at this point, unless something that we simply cannot say no to comes along. And
Taylor Swift.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to do Taylor Swift. That'd be incredible.
We all would.
Yeah. But yeah, apart from that, yeah, keep your eyes peeled or ears peeled rather, for new tunes, new stuff. And yeah.
Sean of the mighty Make Them Suffer. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. Cannot wait to see you on stage.
No worries. Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.